video was emailed from the victim's family to Janet Rodriguez, my victim's advocate. She made copies. I had our paralegal upload the video yesterday, and I gave copies to defense counsel this morning as soon as I was able to.
Are you going to play that video today?
Possibly. It depends on if we get to that witness.
Okay, well, give you guys a chance to review it. If you have any objections, I'll take those up at a break.
We're mulling that decision.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
happy with the delivery and the lack of care of delivering it by the source, but we understand that.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone going to invoke the rule?
Yes, Judge, and I have all of my morning witnesses here, and so I didn't know. Okay. You guys would all stand up, not you, just witnesses.
Would this be for the whole trial? or
No.
also-
This is just morning. If everybody could please raise your right hand if you're a witness in this case. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this cause shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, the court is going to invoke the rules, so what that means is that you are a witness in this case, so you are not allowed to talk to any other witness about your testimony. You can freely speak to the attorneys, but not any other witness. So not while you're waiting out there, you can't talk to each other, and after you testify, certainly you can't talk about what you just testified to. Anything else?
Judge, Deputy Delgado is going to be my first witness, so I would ask that he just remain in the courtroom.
That's fine, or if you can be here for opening,
During opening statements?
that's fine.
And Judge, the state is going to waive its opening pursuant to Article 36.01 of the Code of Criminal Procedure.
If the state's way, then the defense can't make an opening either. Okay, no problem, call your first witness.
Okay. We'll have to arraign the defendants.
Yeah, let's do that
Okay.
first. The rest of you can wait outside, follow Ms. Rodriguez. Let's bring the jury in. I'm trying to log on and it's really slow, but I'm getting there.
I'm trying to express.
2121?
Yes.
You said just, we agree on that. Sure, you should also separately committee.
If they're going to testify just in a punishment, yeah. I
You
would
can-
have any direction. Judge, just for
Okay.
purposes of the record,
You-
there
you didn't-
are
you didn't want for opening
possible
statement?
defense punishment
Oh, not-
witnesses.
okay.
The state has no objections in them being in the courtroom during the actual trial. As long as they're not fact witnesses in any way.
Come on.
Okay. You never know. Literally never know.
Yeah, right.
I never know.
Is the volume here?
Huh?
Is the volume?
Yeah. Your mic's over there.
Okay, ready for it?
Do you have the indictments from your, or do you want me to sign?
Step away from the screen.
Yeah, Bob's watching. Did you need the TV?
You want the TV muted?
Yeah.
But we can't mute the TV just in case we pay audio. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Bob, just make sure that you stay muted the whole time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you ready, Judge?
Give me a minute. Gretchen, they're right here.
Oh, he's.
Thank
you. He's watching the
How do we do that?
Yeah.
How many? He has to watch it on Zoom. He can't be here, especially his son.
Yeah, he is.
So.
Who? All right for the jury?
What's the lower cost number? We'll do him first. All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. I have office hours for attorneys to come talk to me for non-docket matters at 8:30, and so I got a little delayed with non-docket matters, but we're ready. The state has waived their opening statement, so we're going to go straight into the testimony. Before we do that, we're going to take a plea from both Mr. Blankenship and Mr. Wootan. So both defendants could please rise for the reading of the indictment.
Styled State of Texas versus William Blankenship in cause number 2021 CR 1693, true bill of indictment. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, the Grand Jury of Bexar County, State of Texas, duly organized, impaneled, and sworn as such at the January term AD 2021 of the 226th Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment, on or about the 8th day of December 2020, Williams Blankenship did intentionally and knowingly cause the death of an individual, namely Josh Fowler, herein referred to as complainant, by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. And on or about the 8th day of December 2020, Williams Blankenship, with intent to cause serious bodily injury to an individual, namely Josh Fowler, hereinafter referred to as complainant, did commit an act clearly dangerous to human life that caused the death of Josh Fowler by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, against the peace and dignity of the state, signed the foreman of the grand jury.
Mr. Blankenship, what is your plea to the charge of the indictment, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Go ahead, State.
Styled State of Texas versus Lane Wootan in cause number 2021 CR 1694, true bill of indictment. In the name and by the authority of the State of Texas, the Grand Jury of Bexar County, State of Texas, duly organized, impaneled, and sworn as such at the January term AD 2021 of the 226th Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term, do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment, on or about the 8th day of December 2020, Lane Wootan did intentionally and knowingly cause the death of an individual, namely Josh Fowler, hereinafter referred to as complainant, by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. And on or about the 8th day of December 2020, Lane Wootan, with intent to cause serious bodily injury to an individual, namely Josh Fowler, hereinafter referred to as complainant, did commit an act clearly dangerous to human life that caused the death of Josh Fowler by shooting the complainant with a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, against the peace and dignity of the state.
Mr. Wooten, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you all. You may be seated. State, you call your first witness.
State calls Deputy Delgado to the stand.
Hey, you're gonna speak into this mic, but you have to get up right on it. Speak loud, okay? Okay.
Deputy Delgado, you were previously sworn. You remain under the same oath.
the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
My name is Deputy Andrew Delgado. I work for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about yourself? How did you get to the Bexar County Sheriff's Department?
I applied as a jailer. I worked in the jail for approximately 4.5 years. After that, I transitioned to the law enforcement side on patrol, and I've been doing that for approximately 5 more years.
In order to be a jailer, did you have to go through special training?
Yes, ma'am. It's to be certified as a jailer to the state.
And what did that entail? What did you have to do?
Mental health classes, CIT training,
What is CIT?
critical incident training.
And then when you transitioned to be a deputy on this, I'm assuming on the streets on patrol?
I'm sorry?
When you transitioned to being a deputy on the streets on patrol, did you have to go to additional training?
Yes, ma'am. Except this time it was out of a correctional facility, so the training's for real world circumstances instead of a controlled facility like the jail.
And what were the classes, what was the course that you had to go through in order to be a deputy that worked patrol?
There are several courses. You have to go through an academy after obtaining your peace officer license. I did that at San Antonio College while I was working at the jail as a detention officer. I obtained my peace officer license. I took a test, which granted me the ability to go to the law enforcement side. Once I passed that test, there was a series of physical abilities and then an oral review board. Then I was admitted into the Bexar County Patrol Academy. In the academies where you take a wide variety of courses, self-defense, CIT, mental health. There's just so many courses in there that help you to be a well-rounded officer for whatever you may encounter when you're out in the field.
And once you completed with that academy, did you then have on-the-job training?
Yes, you have 2 officers that are with you for a couple of weeks, and essentially you're answering calls with somebody there watching you, overseeing everything. If there's a correction that needs to be made, they make that correction in real time. And after the first officer, you get a week with another officer, and he evaluates you. And then after that week evaluation, if you continue on, there's another officer who's with you, or another deputy for approximately 4 to 6 weeks. And if he sees that you're capable and ready to move on, he puts you onto a final evaluation officer for another week who observes you, minimum interference, and if you do well and you progress, then you're a full-fledged patrol deputy after that.
So on December 8th of 2020, were you a full-fledged patrol deputy at that time?
Yes, ma'am, for a few years.
All right, you had already been a full-fledged patrol deputy for a few years before that?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the jury, how does the Sheriff's Department work? How are you assigned to an area of the county?
So the county is broken up into West Patrol and East Patrol. The dividing line is going to be the entirety of the county. Then you have a dividing line, which is essentially 281, running from the north end of the county by Kamau all the way down to the south end of the county. Everything west of that is West Patrol. Everything east of that is East Patrol. East Patrol is divided into 2 segments. It's going to be the North Patrol and then the South Patrol Division, which is divided by I-10. Everything north of that is going to be Alpha 10 and 20. And then everything south of that is going to be referred to as Bravo 10, 20, 30, and 40. Bravo, I'm sorry.
So back on December 8th of 2020, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to Bravo 30, which is going to be essentially from where US Highway 181 and IH 37 intersect, all the way down to the county line, everything in between.
When a call comes in for 911, can you explain to the jury what is the procedure of how a deputy is assigned to that call?
So part of the training to become a deputy, before you're exposed to any of the field portion of it, they actually have us go to the dispatch center so that we can better understand the process for it all, so that we can understand how the timely manner of things happens. So when somebody calls 911, it comes into the dispatch center, and you have someone taking notes and details, asking you the nature of the call. Once they provide that, they're inputting notes. The moment that information dispatcher picks up the phone, it starts a time from when the call initially came in. The dispatcher's putting in notes, and then someone else is transferring it to its designated area, whatever deputies work in that area, East or West Patrol. Once it's transferred to East or West Patrol, the designated area, then the units in the area are able to see the details as they come up. It's not assigned to anybody. Generally, I monitor the screen at all times, so when something comes up and it hasn't been assigned, I'm already reading the details in real time as they're being processed. So I can see what the complainant's stating, I can see if there's any yelling, screaming, whatever the case may be in the background noise, before it's assigned to anyone, so I can dictate whether or not I should, in fact, drop what I'm doing and head to that if it is a higher priority call.
So back on December 8th, 2020, did you get dispatched to a location?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I was assigned to Bravo 30, but I was dispatched to a call in Bravo 20 sector.
And was that 6875 East Loop 1604?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And is that in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Aaron, may I approach the witness?
Are you gonna mark that exhibit that you have on this?
Not right now, Judge. I'm showing you State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this item?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is this a map of the general area that you were dispatched to that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is this part of Bexar County that you were generally assigned to?
As a patrol deputy, I get all of these patrol, so yes, I'm very familiar with all the areas.
Okay. And so you were familiar with this area?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you describe to the jury what that area looks like? What is the makeup of that area?
It's a rural area of the county. There's maybe 1 or 2 gas stations within a 20-mile radius of that area. It's very dark, not lit. The houses, most of them don't have fencing in between them. There's a 1604, which is a narrow highway. Sometimes it's 1 lane, sometimes it's 2. It's being expanded now, but it's a very narrow highway. There's a lot of hill country out there. We get a lot of cow calls, loose donkeys, etc., things of that nature. There's a lot of crashes because of how dark it is. There's, I believe, 1 traffic light on New Sulphur Springs and Highway 1604. Apart from that, everything else is just rural and stop signs for traffic.
Your Honor, may I approach again?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to mark your reports, State's Exhibit A as an apple, and then the incident detail report as State's Exhibit B. And you can refer to these as you need to in order to refresh your memory.
Did you say
A as an apple. And I mentioned an IDR, an incident detail report. Can you tell the jury what that is?
So the information dispatch center, as I explained earlier, once the call's processed, there's a timestamp for that. And then once the information dispatcher passes it on and designates it or assigns it to an officer, deputy, there's a timestamp for that. When the deputy gets close to the location, the unit's GPS can tell that it's in close proximity. It shows you out at location. There's a timestamp for that. Everything else is basically on the radio. You make a statement, and then they provide you with the timestamp manually.
All right. And what time did the call come in on this incident?
Showing the call came in at 10:44 p.m.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer State's Exhibit 4 into evidence, tendering to opposing counsel any objections. This is the 911 tape that has been on record with the business record affidavit for more than 14 days. Yes.
States 4, the 911 recorded is admitted?
And Your Honor, may I publish it to the jury?
Yes.
December 8th, 2020, 22 hours, 44 minutes, 9 seconds.
The death right here, in the fucking bomb.
What is the address of your?
Yes, sir. My son-in-law has been shot with a fucking gun. He's bleeding out of his fucking bomb. I need him over here.
What is your address, sir?
No, I can't do it. He will bleed to death.
Sir, what is your address?
What's the address? Did you hear that, sir?
No, sir, I didn't hear that. What is that address?
Give me the address, please. 6875 East Route, 1604 South, the Bruce Lane.
Is 3375?
No, 6875 East Route, 1604 South, Athens, sir.
Okay, 6875 1604 South?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's going on there?
The boss is bringing this on.
Okay, now I need to know what's going on there.
I don't know.
So what is it that's going on there?
Sir, I need to end it here now.
Okay, but what's going on there? I need to know what's going on.
What do you mean?
What is it that's going on at the location?
Oh, he just was on the location to kill him. Like, I didn't know it. I didn't even know that.
Okay, I need to know why EMS needs to go out there. What's the medical emergency? What's going on?
Just got fucking hole stuff inside.
He got a hole on the side?
Yes.
From what?
Sir, I don't know. I don't know. Is he okay? Right? Hey, this is all
Okay, and what's going on? What's going on with that mouth? What is that mouth?
Josh is 23, 24. I don't know.
Okay, what is it that happened with him?
He just got shot by somebody. I don't know who.
Okay, so when did this happen?
Just like 2 minutes ago. He's bleeding into his lungs. He cannot.
Okay, where was he hit?
He's right into the side on his left side, going into his lungs. I'm holding pressure on it right now.
Okay.
But he's still bleeding out very fastly. He stopped breathing on me.
Okay, we're already getting help out there. What is your name?
My name's Lane Wootan.
Okay, what's a good callback number for you?
This number right here, I just called you on.
Okay, 210-718-8820?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't know who did this, correct?
I kind of do, but I can't mention his name out loud right now on the phone.
Okay, were they in a vehicle? Did you see anybody?
Yes, they just drove off.
What kind of vehicle was
from
it?
here. A silver Jeep. Looking for. They
Okay,
live on Sandy Elm Street. They live off of.
and which way did they take off for, sir?
I have no clue.
Okay.
But I just want to get my person down and everything.
Okay, so I'm going to help out you, so what I'm going to do is transfer you over to our EMS service. They're going to give you instructions, okay? Go to the phone line, sir, 1 moment.
Canadian Ambulance, how can I help you?
This is verifying with the transfer. The address is 6875 East Loop 1604 South. I do have the...
Please hurry.
Okay, sir, we already have the ambulance on the way. Go ahead and repeat that address for me.
I can't say the address because I don't know it. I'm over here at a friend's house. We're just over here visiting him.
Okay,
There's nothing EMS right now. On the way.
so the nearest cross streets or major intersections near you?
1604.
Okay,
No, he's not
and
reading.
the telephone number you're calling from?
I'm calling from, I don't know my son-in-law's phone. He just got it. I'm holding pressure right now with all my might on his lung and everything to stop the bleeding start.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
My name is Lance Wootan. He stopped breathing, but my son-in-law has. Please hurry.
Okay, like I said,
Freak it out. Freak it out. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, Lance, where was he shot?
He was shot on his left side. It is just below the ribs, almost into his lung. He is bleeding like heavily right now.
Okay, keep pressure on.
I am. I'm keeping burn pressure. I thought I was always remembered to told when I was just being a volunteer firefighter.
Okay, all right. Lance, how old is he?
He's about 24 around.
Okay. All right, Lance, I have to ask these questions. Is he awake?
No, he is on his stomach. He's not breathing, nothing. I cannot get no pulse.
Okay. Okay.
Josh. Oh my God. I have no pulse.
Just stay on
Oh my
the line
God.
with you. We got
Okay, there it goes. There it goes. I have a pulse now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Barely beating, very slowly.
Okay.
Oh my God, Josh. Please, Josh. Come in, Josh. Oh God. Oh God. Please.
Okay, Lance, is there anyone else there with you?
His friend, but he's freaking out too.
Okay, I need you to have the friend.
I hear EMS and he's come down the road further. Oh my God, please have hurry. I have a flashlight in my hand.
Okay, they're coming, Lance, okay?
Oh my God.
Keep that pressure on him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Please hurry, EMS, please hurry. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Focus, keep that pressure on him.
I am. Josh, come in, dude. Josh. They're almost here, dude. Oh my God. Come on down here, EMS. Damn it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can you tell me exactly what happened?
This dude, we were about to leave, and all of a sudden this dude comes out and gets out of the car and starts trying to hit him, and then his father-in-law just fucking shot and hit him. I just hear my son-in-law just go down on the ground. And I don't know what kind of gun he shot him with finger. I don't know if it was a pistol.
Okay.
Oh my God. Come on, down here.
Lance, keep that pressure on him, okay?
I am. I'm just scared shitless.
I understand. I need you to take a deep breath, okay?
What is the actual emergency? I'm at 10 New Bolts Road, but I think there's some gunshots next door.
Okay. The next door, how, like on the same back street?
Yeah, definitely. And then you can hear somebody out there saying some words. So
Like argument?
no, more like an oh my God, and then someone screams fuck. So.
Okay. And you're okay, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. And did you see anything at all, or did you just hear it?
No, yeah, I heard it and then ignored it, and then I just opened the door. That's what I heard out there.
Okay. We're gonna be having units in Russ. Can I have your first and last name?
My name is Jerry, but do not come to my house. If you just drive next door, that'd be cool.
Okay.
But, I can't even tell you their address.
No, that's fine. Do you think you know who it is?
No, it's definitely in the next 2-3 houses down the street, that's for sure.
Okay.
It's more down the street, not up the street, not for 1604. It's more down the street, a couple houses.
Okay. All right, sir. We're gonna go ahead and get someone out to that location.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bear County 911.
Guadalupe County with a transfer for police at on DeBose Road near East Loop 1604 South.
Okay, thank you. Hello, are you there? What is the address?
12 DeBose Road, Atkins, Texas.
You said 10 Du Bois?
No, 12 DeBose.
12 Du Bois. Okay, what's going on there?
I need an ambulance there. My friend's son just got shot over there.
Okay, what is your name?
Jamie?
What is my phone number for you?
Okay, my number is 830-216-0692.
Okay, what is it that's going on there, ma'am?
My boyfriend went over to this house on that Du Bois Road with my son, and this boy Lane Wootan shot my son.
Okay, I see. Okay, I then on this side, we do have EMS and we do have police out at or headed to that location now, okay?
Oh, so that caller, okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's been called in.
But this man's already called. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
What time did you actually arrive at that scene?
Referring to State's Exhibit B, I arrived. GPS showed me in the location at 10:50.
And during the time that you're getting information, did you have information that a vehicle had fled that scene?
Yes, as the call taker's inputting the information, I'm able to read it. And like I stated earlier, I like to be up to date before an incident team is assigned. So I'm monitoring, reading the details. That way I can help out the best I can.
Are you, as you're driving to respond to the scene, are you looking for that vehicle that has fled the scene?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you see it while you were driving?
No, ma'am.
Did you see any vehicles, if you recall, while you were driving?
Not that I can recall.
All right. When you got to the location, and Your Honor, may I approach again? It showed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and here where we see a 9, is that the location that you ultimately found was the location where the incident had happened?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you describe to the jury what you observed when you first pulled up to the scene?
I'm familiar with the area, so I know that roadway has no systematical numerical order for the residences. So the addresses, they don't make sense. Some of number 1 might be here, number 2 might be further down to the left or right. I'm not sure the reasoning for that. And that's from previous experience. So as I'm driving down, I don't know where number 9 is at, but I know it's somewhere on this roadway. I'm driving, it's extremely dark, like I stated earlier, it's not well lit. And I'm driving slowly so that I don't miss anybody. Whoever needs my help, I want to help them to the best of my ability, and passing them up wouldn't be good. So I'm slowly driving. At the end of the roadway, towards the end, on the right-hand side, I see somebody waving a cell phone. That's what draws my attention to it. I let the information dispatcher know that what I see, my observations, and then I make my approach.
And when you got to the actual location, did you see 2 males on the ground?
I saw 2 males on the ground, yes.
Did you also identify an individual as Dylan Tutton at the scene?
Later, I identified him as Dylan.
When you first arrived at the scene, was he there?
He was the one that was waving the cell phone by the roadway to get my attention.
All right. And then the other 2 males were further inside in the property?
Yes, they were several yards deep into the property. It was a pretty big property.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach? I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 5. Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
Okay, and is that an overview of that property?
It's a little bit larger, the property. I just I secured the scene, and it wasn't the full perimeter of the property, but it was a good portion of it.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, State offers State's Exhibit 5 and evidence tendering to opposing counsel for any instruction.
No objection. No objection.
State's 5 is admitted.
May I publish it to the jury, Judge? Yes. So State's Exhibit 5, this is the house that you were dispatched to?
Correct.
Okay. And the individual that was waving his cell phone, where was he standing when you approached?
By the tape over here. It's close to the roadway as he could, but still on the property.
By the mailbox?
Yes, ma'am. Close to the street.
And then the males that you saw laying down, approximately approximately where were they located? We see a patrol vehicle here in the picture. Can you tell us where you saw them?
From this angle, I cannot see where the residence is located.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like dark. Hang on, let me see if I can put the light on. Here we go. That's better.
Can you also enlarge it, correction?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so when I got there, that unit, I believe that's my unit, I pushed it up a little bit later on, and I used my takedown lights to illuminate the scene for the EMTs and everybody else operating the area. So they were laying in front of that area.
Okay, in front of where your patrol vehicle
Yes,
is?
ma'am.
All right. Are you equipped with a body cam?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury, does your department have a policy about when you turn on the body cam, how long you keep it on, those kinds of things?
So I can manually turn it on if I'm at an incident. If I'm speaking to someone in conversation and something happens, I can activate it. It's 2 taps to the center, and it begins recording. So I'll start recording that way. It's also synced up to the units, so that if I activate my lights, it's going to turn on instantly in conjunction with my lights.
And were you wearing a body cam the night of this incident?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, state would offer State's Exhibit 106 into evidence tendering to opposing counsel for any questions. Your Honor, may I publish it to the jury?
106.
Yes. And Judge, I'm not planning to admit the entire video because how long were you out at the scene that day?
More than an hour. It's pretty long.
Okay. I'm just going to play the beginning and then kind of fast forward a little bit.
Space 106 is not ready.
May I take my chair?
So as we start the body cam, is this while you're still driving in your patrol car?
So the body cam has a function where it actually records 30 seconds prior to activating it. So it's buffering the entire duration of your shift. Once you turn your lights on, it records 30 seconds before. So 30 seconds into it, you should see lights come on.
And that's the lights of your patrol vehicle?
Yes, unless I manually activate it prior to that.
I'm just going to pause it for just a second. At the top it says 12/9 of 2020. Is that correct, or was it on 12/8?
It was on 12/8.
Okay. And so do you know why that date is different?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any control over that?
No, ma'am.
Is there somebody following you?
No, those are going to be lights mounted on the top.
From 31.
Case number and show me around to this unit.
Investigation cannot shoot on location.
Bravo 31 case number.
4
And again, they were being very cooperative over the phone.
You see, it's on the private road, the voice correct?
Well, we had a second caller that said he heard gunshots at 1675 to both, but that was his location is Vietnam police there, and a little different caller.
You see, if I'm checking the entire roadway.
Right, copy. We did try to call the original complaint back plant, and there's not anything working now.
Alright, I see someone flagging me down with the cell phone all the way down. The goal is on the right hand side.
Right, copy.
And I'm gonna have an individual on the ground in the field. Our advice.
Like that.
Alright. Do you favor, do you have any weapons on you? You can take it, not leave it there? I'll get it, okay?
No, it's not there. Just my name.
Okay. Is there anyone else here? Is there anyone else here?
No, sir, I have no
Okay,
weapons.
alright. Do you favor, get up.
I can't. If I let go,
Okay. Where's the
he will
wound?
die.
Where's the wound?
Located right here. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna roll him over, okay?
I'm glad to stay on the ground. He's not breathing very much. I can't get him to.
Bravo 30 secure. I got 2 males that are out with him. 1 male unresponsive. I don't see his chest moving at all. I'm applying pressure to the wound. It's gonna be on the left side. Scene is secure for medical. Hey, give me an ID on him, okay? Both of you, go over here where I can see you, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Need to see if he's breathing, okay?
You want me to hold him? All right, can hold pressure on his wound.
Okay.
Please.
Bravo 30 minutes to be secure.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Josh. Sir, do you need help? No response to you.
Just go back for me.
Yes, sir. Oh my God. Josh. Oh my God.
Did you continue performing CPR until EMS arrived?
Yes.
And then once they arrived, were there any other patrol deputies at the scene at that point?
Yes, EMS arrived and then a patrol deputy showed up.
At that point, what is your responsibility?
At what point? This point or at the
At the
EMS?
point where EMS has arrived to take over CPR, what are your responsibilities at that point as a patrol officer?
So once they take over life-saving measures, then it's my duty to secure the scene, check for possible threats, and secure everything for investigation. Find out who my witnesses are, who might have possibly seen anything, to figure out what's going on, what happened.
Let's talk about those witnesses. So you mentioned the guy that had the cell phone, and you later identified him as Dylan Tutton, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in regards to Dylan Tutton, you said about threats. Did he have a knife on him when you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Where was that knife?
On his waistband.
You've been out to many scenes in that general area on a regular basis, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Is it common for individuals to carry knives?
Objection or relevance, what happens to us with the
Sustained.
When you saw a knife on him, was that concerning to you?
No.
Why not?
People carry knives all the time out there.
And you, we see on the video there's an individual that is originally applying pressure to the injury on Josh Fowler. Did you identify him?
Yes, sir.
And what was his name?
It was a Lance.
After you identified them both as potential witnesses, what did you do with them?
At this point in time, I wasn't sure if there were witnesses involved in any of this. I didn't know why they were there, their intentions, or what happened, what transpired. I just knew that they were there for it, so I had to separate them. I had to separate them, isolate them, and then get statements from them. But As you can see, I had to perform some first aid over here.
Right. So you separated the two guys that were at the scene when you arrived, correct?
When I initially got there, I served nobody any. I don't do any good if somebody shoots me from the back or stabs me from the back. While I'm there now, we would have 2 casualties. So whatever was out there, I put it in front of me to ensure that I can at least try and help this individual. And then the deputy showed up after the fact. He's the one who separated it. So we work both together. We all know what needs to be done. So he just took his steps in that.
All right. Did you meet with Dylan?
Yes, sir.
Did you get a statement from him about what he had seen and what he had heard?
I believe I spoke to him twice.
All right. Did neighbors and other family members start arriving at the scene?
Yes, sir.
What happened when you saw them start to arrive?
I set up the caution tape to establish a perimeter so nobody would come into the scene or contaminate it or interfere in any way.
Did you then learn that there was a female in the house?
Yes, sir.
What did you do when you learned that there was a female in the house?
When I went to the front of the entrance to make contact with whoever was in the residence, the female came walking out from the left, from the rear of the structure.
And what did you do once you saw her?
I identified her. I asked her if there's anyone else in the house. She stated no, but at the same time,
Judge, I would object to them both making objections.
Yes, be just one. Who is it going to be?
Objection to hearsay, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Ekring, this is your witness. Objection to hearsay sustained.
Did you then secure her away from the other 2 witnesses?
yes, sir.
Did you ask someone who was responsible for the house if you could search inside that house?
Yes, sir.
Why did you do that?
To ensure that there was nobody else inside of the house that needed help.
While you were inside of the house, did you observe anything that was important to you?
I observed what I believe to be pills,
Overruled.
Give me a-
pills, some baggies with training experience, some come hand in hand with narcotics. And then I also found, I checked under the bed because people like to hide in spaces during events like this, the closet, and under the bed I found a long rifle.
Did you then secure the house?
Yes, sir.
Did you collect any of those items that you saw in the house?
No, ma'am.
Did you just make note of them?
Yes, just observations, checking for anybody else in the residence.
At that point, had other individuals, including an investigator, had they arrived at the scene at that point?
Yes, ma'am. A few investigators and my supervisor.
Did you meet with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you give them a summary of what had happened before they got there?
A few times.
And then did you speak with Dylan again?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the victim then transported to the hospital by EMS?
Yes, ma'am.
When you spoke to Kayla, did you believe that she had any information about the actual incident?
I just asked her what she knew. I don't know what she believed or observed or heard.
But after speaking with her, the information she gave you, did you believe that she was an eyeball or an ear witness to the actual shooting?
Oh, no. No, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Yes. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, sir.
And do they fairly and accurately show the cars that you observed that night?
Yes, sir.
State would offer State's Exhibit 6 through 10 into evidence tendering to opposing counsel during the charges.
are.
May I publish them to the jury judge?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you State's Exhibit 6. There were 3 vehicles at that location when you arrived, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine who the red car belonged to?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
The female, Kayla.
And the white car, the white Mustang, were you able to identify who that vehicle belonged to?
To Josh.
And the black vehicle parked behind the Mustang, were you able to identify who that vehicle belonged to?
I know.
State's Exhibit 7. What, if any, damage did you observe to the windshield of that Ford Mustang?
I observed the crack in its entirety as demonstrated in photo.
And State's Exhibit 8, the rear window, what did you observe?
Same thing, a large crack on the rear.
And then State's Exhibit 9, did you look into that black vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we see that in State's Exhibit 10, correct?
Yes, when I looked at it, I stayed outside and I just shined my light through the windows.
Okay, and we see in State's Exhibit 9 some of the things that you observed. Can you tell the jury what was of import to you when you looked in that car?
Yes, I observed a wooden table leg resting on the driver floorboard, a rifle round on the driver floorboard, a multicolored orange silver knife lodged in the lower backrest of the driver's seat.
Sustained, you can't read from your report, you just refresh your memory on.
Okay, I also found a round for a pistol on the passenger side floorboard, and there's also a case of a Twisted Tea as well with a small little cooler. What drew my attention besides the damage was that there was also a Twisted Tea can crushed on the exterior on the floor by the driver door of this vehicle.
So where I'm pointing on State's Exhibit 10, is that where you saw that Twisted Tea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for jurors that may not know, what is Twisted Tea?
It's an alcoholic beverage.
Okay. And so then when you observed, I think in State's Exhibit 9, we can see that cooler just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when you saw that, did you think that maybe that can came from inside that car? Did you see a Twisted Tea also inside of that black car?
I saw was it the cart with the several others inside?
Okay, a box.
Yes, in my box.
All right. And then you mentioned a wooden
Table leg, what appeared to be a table leg.
and is that what I'm pointing to here, this brown object on the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you mentioned a knife. Is that this orange object that I'm pointing to here on the seat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you said there was a live round. Can we see that in this picture?
I can't see it from here.
Okay. But you saw it with your eyes.
Yes, ma'am.
And you observed another live round also inside of that vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you responsible for following up on the investigation?
No, there were several investigators assigned to this.
So after you did your job, your initial job, once the investigators arrived, did they take over the investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness.
Is he present?
If we may,
Yes, sorry, Mr. Gold. So Blankenship will always go first in order, okay?
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Gold.
Mr. Delgado, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name's Charles. I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? And if there's anything that doesn't make sense, that Charles, please reword your question, all right?
Okay.
I'll give you a chance to refresh your memory and review this report.
I believe so.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to change to it before we get started?
No.
So you were kind of close to the scene, is that what you're saying?
I was on scene.
Okay, I'm sorry, whenever the 911 call came, you were kind of close.
Yes.
How far away were you?
So my area of assignment for the course of the evening was a little further south down. So I was passing that area en route to my designated area.
So you're kind of passing through it?
I was traveling down 1604 from the Commerce area. I passed I-10, I passed Highway 87, and as I was driving in that general area, that's when the call came out.
Okay, so it's pretty close.
Yes, sir.
Understood. And it was dark?
Very.
It was very dark?
Yes, sir.
It was hard to see?
Yes, sir.
And the pictures you're showing, there's not a lot of lights on the street at all, is there?
Especially on the private road.
And it is kind of weird because they're not in order, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
whenever you're driving down the road, it might be house 1, then house 7, and then 15, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying that's the order it was in, I'm just saying they're not in numerical order, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And there's no fences between the houses, right?
At that point in time, very minimal.
Those houses are kind of old, aren't they?
I'm not sure on the age.
Fair enough. There's not modern lighting on the houses, LED lights.
Some of those homes are mobile homes. Some people have RVs that they live out of in those homes.
But like where the driveway hit the road, there's no lights there, right?
I can't recall from now.
And there's not lights around the houses. There might be a porch light though, right?
Possibly.
Okay. So, whenever you spoke with Dylan, right?
Yes, sir.
You spoke with Lance.
Yes, sir.
And then a lot of people showed up, right?
Both officers, medical and bystanders.
So you're talking about the crime scene. You marked it off, right?
I taped the front residence off. Somebody else taped up the back, the rear.
But what did you say, the crime scene you didn't want to be compromised, is that right?
Exactly.
But a lot of people did kind of walk through it, right?
Just the required people, medical,
Right. And there's a few people working on it as well, right?
medical.
There's a few people working on it.
Yes, sir.
Right? And they're around Josh at that time, right?
Correct.
And so some things might have been moved around a little bit.
It's a possibility.
Okay. You never saw Lane there, did you?
No.
You never saw Bill there, did you?
I never saw the people you're pointing at.
Okay. So you didn't talk to these people, right?
No.
You just talked with Dylan and you talked with Lance, right?
Kayla as well.
And Kayla, but she was an eyewitness.
I spoke with her.
Josh was unresponsive.
Yes.
So you just listened to one side.
I listened to everybody's account of the incident.
There was only one side of the people that were there, though, right?
I had no idea who was there, so
Okay. Whenever you were talking to Lane and to Dylan and to Kayla,
to Lance,
I'm sorry, yes, to Lance, thank you for the correction, for Lance. Did anybody say they saw the shooting?
not while I was there.
Nobody said I saw the shooting
No.
that you spoke with. Did they say they heard the shooting?
Yes.
Did they say that they were inside?
It was when I spoke to Dylan the first time and the second time that he told me that he both heard it and he was outside.
I'm sorry?
Dylan told me he heard a shot, a pop.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, someone did hear it.
So they both heard it?
Dylan heard it and as well as Lance.
Okay. And neither of them told you that they saw it, right?
Correct.
Did they tell you where they were whenever they were shooting? They heard the shot.
Yes.
Where were they?
When I first interviewed Dylan,
Uh-huh.
he told me he was inside when he heard the shot.
What about Lance?
Lance, I didn't interview Lance, I just interviewed Dylan. Lance, I only spoke with Lance during the, when I was conducting CPR and so forth. But,
You spoke with them?
yes sir, briefly.
So you went into the house, right?
Yes sir.
You found pills and guns?
I observed some pills in the toilet, some baggies in the toilet, and a long rifle underneath the bed.
There was baggies in the toilet?
There was one small clear Ziploc bag and a segment of a sandwich bag, which are known to be hand in hand with narcotics, consumption, distribution.
Who did you put in your car?
I'm sorry?
You put a witness in your car, right?
I didn't put anybody in my car. The other deputies did it for me.
Okay. Somebody else put them in your car?
Yes, sir.
And you saw 3 vehicles there, right?
Correct.
You saw Josh's car, which is the white Mustang.
I saw a white Mustang there.
You saw a red car, and that was Caleb's.
I saw a red SUV.
There was a black vehicle there too, right?
Yes, sir.
Was it Chrysler?
Yes, sir.
Nobody knows who that was, right?
Kayla didn't know who it belonged to.
Okay, so it might have been involved with somebody that showed up there, right?
Not from the people that were there.
I'm sorry?
Kayla stated the red one belonged to her, the white one belonged to Josh, and the black one, she didn't know whose car that was.
So that might have somebody to do with what's going on there that night, though, right?
Definitely.
Definitely, right?
Yes, sir. It's a possibility, yes.
So that means that another car showed up as well, though, right?
I don't understand your question.
So somebody left that car, right?
The car was there.
Nobody's there claiming a car, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means they left, right?
I don't know who it belonged to.
Did you see anybody running away on foot?
No.
So they said somebody left in one car, right?
Nobody told me, nobody made any statements to me about people leaving in the car.
It was on the 911, you showed up for the 911 call, right?
Correct.
On the 911, somebody said a silver Jeep left?
That's correct.
Okay, so you did hear about that then, right? The vehicle leaving?
Yes, there were details involved in the incident.
Okay. It's kind of strange that 2 cars show up and 1 car leaves, huh?
Judge, I would object to the counsel testifying this day.
So you were wearing your uniform that night, right?
Yes, sir.
Your gun is part of it, right?
I'm sorry?
Your gun is part of your uniform.
My firearm, yes.
Your body armor,
Yes, sir.
you wear that too, right?
Every day.
You have a body worn camera as well, right?
Yes, sir.
It can record visually.
I No.
You're the only one that can turn it on and off.
Yes.
But is there a report of what you hear and see, right?
Yes.
You've received training for it.
Yes, sir.
There's a manual on it, right?
Yes, sir.
Procedure 410, body worn camera?
I'm not sure on the policy.
Okay. So, you'll have to wear that as part of your uniform, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if somebody made an allegation against you, you can use that, right?
Yes, sir.
It's pretty good evidence, right? The video and the audio is pretty good evidence of what would happen.
It's to be used.
The camera isn't biased, right?
No.
Doesn't forget.
It's a camera.
So, have you watched the whole video?
Not the whole video.
Would you be surprised that you turn off your audio after about 28 minutes?
No.
And then you never turn it back on again?
No.
It doesn't surprise you?
No.
Why not?
Sometimes when you're speaking to a supervisor on details of the incident, you can mute it.
I'm sorry?
When you're speaking to a supervisor, advising them on the details of the incident or speaking on tactics, you're allowed to mute it as long as you articulate so.
If you had it on for the first 5 minutes, 28 minutes, and then the rest of the hour, this never came on, the last hour would just be for details with the officer and so forth?
I'm sorry?
So there's no, whatever your question, Dylan, did you have it on or off?
I had it on.
You have your audio on.
Yes, sir.
And we can see that up here, you questioning Dylan early on.
It should be on.
And if it's not,
Possibly had not turned it back on if I spoke to a supervisor, but for the most part, I'm pretty good about it.
you took Lance downtown to be interviewed, is that right?
No.
You didn't. Do you know if Lance went downtown to be interviewed?
I believe so.
Dylan, did you go downtown?
I believe he went as well.
So, may I approach, Judge? So if we look at your, refresh your memory, if we can you read right there for me, that last paragraph?
This one?
Yes. No, I'm sorry, the second last on this one, right here.
Which one?
Right here, second to last paragraph.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Investigators?
Yeah, if you can just read that to yourself. So, after your refresh your memory, do you know if you went downtown or not?
If I went downtown,
No, if Dylan went downtown.
I believe so.
You think so? But, and would there be if you go downtown, is there equipment to get a video and audio of Dylan and Lance speaking as well?
I believe so, but you'd have to speak to an investigator on those details.
Fair enough. All right, no more questions.
Deputy Donato, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The purpose of the recording is to preserve evidence, correct?
Yes, sir.
To record visually and audio to preserve and to show a jury, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you turn off your audio, you're depriving this jury of that information.
I'm sorry, one more time?
When you turn off your audio, you deprive this jury of that information, don't you?
When I muted the audio, it's to speak on a supervisor, tell him the details of the incident, my observations. It's not me speaking to a witness, somebody who was there, or a complainant, a victim, none of that.
All right. That conversation is not available for this jury to hear, yes or no?
I believe that's correct.
It is not available for this jury to hear, correct?
I have to review the video.
Okay. Did you reviewed a report to refresh your memory here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
What else did you review to refresh your memory before testifying today?
I reviewed a portion of the video.
Okay. And do you recall that portion of the video or the audio where you muted the audio?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about handwritten notes or other reports or other items? Anything else that you reviewed in preparation for testifying today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you speak with your supervisors in preparation for your testimony?
No, ma'am.
When you made the scene, okay, just to be a little clear, was it about approximately 5 minutes from the time you got the call to the time you arrived on the scene?
I can review the report and give you an exact time.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm reviewing on State Exhibit P, been provided to me. The call came out at 10:44. It was assigned at 10:47, and I arrived at 10:50.
10:50?
Yes, sir.
So about 6 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you controlled that area for a while, you're pretty familiar with this, right?
Most of them.
Okay. Well, you didn't take you long to get to this location, did it?
No.
And when you arrived, you also saw lights on inside the house, didn't you?
Later on, yes, sir.
Well, were they on when you arrived or not?
I can't recall.
Okay. Do you recall noting how many points of entry and exit there were at the home?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many points of entry to the home there are?
I observed the front door, and then when they granted consent to go inside, I went into a rear door. So to my knowledge, it was 2.
Okay, and windows, did you count?
No, I didn't count windows.
Okay. And so those would be points of entry for entry and exit, correct?
They had windows.
And windows, that's what I mean. There's windows and at least 2 doors.
There was 2 doors that I observed in windows.
Okay, one in the front, one in the back,
Yes, sir.
correct? And the one in the back, that was a very dark, unfenced back area, correct, to the home?
In the yard, yes.
In the yard, unfenced,
Yes, sir.
okay? And you observed multicolored pills inside the toilet, correct?
Yes, sir.
And those would have, the indication to you was that they were illegal?
No, I just articulated that there was pills inside of the toilet.
Okay. And did it, what indication did that seem to make to you that they were inside the toilet?
I generally don't see pills, little Ziploc bags or sandwich bags all together in one single toilet.
Okay, so the purpose would be to flush them, correct?
I have no idea, I just saw them in there.
Okay, well, you're not, people usually keep their pills in the medicine cabinet, right?
Or in a bottle somewhere.
Or in a bottle, not in the toilet.
Correct.
So, when police and law are on the way, people start flushing their drugs down the toilet, correct?
I can't speak for people.
Okay, well, you see it in your experience as a patrol officer, don't you?
I've come across it.
You come across it. And the long rifle under the bed, was that, how many bedrooms were in the home?
I can't say. I just make sure there's nobody else in there.
Did that appear to be the bed of the homeowner?
It was a bed. I can't say if it was the bed of the homeowner.
Okay. And was it center under the bed or closer to an edge of the bed?
At this time, I cannot recall.
Okay. And did you observe a black USA knife?
I'm sorry?
Did you observe a knife with like a USA type of emblem on it, a buck knife?
I observed a knife in the seat and the knife that I took off of Dylan.
Okay, the knife you took off of Dylan, what kind of knife was that?
I can't recall.
Okay, so if, did you observe a knife indicated like an old timer knife
Where would this knife have been?
inside the house?
I can't say.
Okay. Did you observe a pocket knife with an American flag?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you observe a wooden 2x2 stud with black tape?
I was looking for persons, not items, when I was in the home.
Well, you found a rifle under the bed.
While looking for a person.
Okay, but you also were concerned about your safety and securing weapons, correct?
I was checking the closet and under bed, common spaces where people hide.
Okay, so where was the baseball bat?
I don't know what baseball bat you're speaking of.
Okay, and what about the black metal carjack handle? Where was that?
I have no idea about these items she's speaking about.
Okay. What about a semi-automatic rifle, Marlin? Is that the one you found under the bed?
I don't know what type of rifle it was. I didn't touch it. I just observed it.
Okay. What about a bolt action rifle? Where did you observe that?
I observed a rifle beneath the bed.
Okay. What about the ammo box with 3 9mm magazines?
I did not observe that or put in my report.
Okay. The miscellaneous bullets, where were those?
I didn't observe it.
Okay. Semi-automatic Smith & Wesson 9mm with a holster, where did you observe that?
Judge, I think there's a little mischaracterization. You're going through all of the exhibits in the case. He didn't collect those. Those are just included in the report under his because he's the master.
I understand, but he said that he goes to the scene and he's got body armor on and he's there to secure it and he wants to identify what weapons are there so he doesn't get shot in the back or stabbed. So I want to know how many weapons he actually looked for and found.
How
secure was the scene if he didn't secure those items?
When I went into the house, I was checking for other persons in need of assistance or other persons that may have been hiding. Something took place, so I was trying to make sure that I spoke to and found, located anybody that may have been on the property. When I was checking the residence, I wasn't checking for specific items at all. I was checking for bodies. That to include inside the closet and beneath the bed, which are common areas where people hide.
So at that point, your safety was no longer a concern to you?
A single gun laying under a bed is not going to harm me.
Okay. And other items in the home, you're not concerned about their being harmed?
With nobody wielding them or utilizing them, they're not going to harm me.
Incendiary devices don't concern you? You don't look for those? You don't clear the scene?
May you define that term, please?
It didn't concern you to clear the home when you entered it?
I didn't have a warrant to go searching for items. I was just checking for bodies. I had consent.
Would it, okay, so when did you ever see those items being removed from the home?
No.
Okay. How long after you were in the home did someone else arrive?
Someone else being who? There were several officers on scene. I believe one went in there with me just to check and ensure there's no one else there.
And the exterior of the home, you looked inside at some vehicles you saw out there, right?
I shined my light through the window.
Okay. And you saw a twisted tea crust can on the ground, right?
Correct.
Was that taken into evidence?
I'm not touching anything in the scene. I'm just making observations.
Okay. Where did you observe the rest of the empty beer cans around the property?
I observed that one can. I observed the box with the other cans on the floorboard inside of the black Chrysler with the little cooler.
So other items, beer cans and trash around the property, you don't remember seeing those things?
No.
When you arrived, your first attention was to the two gentlemen on the floor, on the ground, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one was Lance Stovall, and he was quite emotional. Yes?
So my initial intention was with Dylan, who,
Dylan? Okay.
yes, and then I went to Lance and
They were
Josh.
all very emotional, correct?
Except Josh. Joshua.
Okay. So Josh, did he make any kind of statement to you at all?
Right. He was unresponsive.
Unresponsive. Okay. Did you attempt to ask him any questions?
I attempted to do the best I could to save his life.
And did Mr. Tootin tell you he was wearing that knife, or you found it on him?
Mr. Tooting,
The knife, how did you find the knife in his waistband?
referring to Dylan,
Yes, sir.
when I arrived on scene, it was a shooting. So for safety, I wanted to make sure nobody had any weapons. I wouldn't be able to help anybody if I myself were shot.
Okay, so you secured the knife off of Dylan, correct?
I removed it.
And an ambulance arrived to transport Josh, correct?
They did other things prior to transporting.
Okay. And do you know where he was transported to?
A hospital. I'm not sure which one without reviewing.
Okay. And Dylan told you or indicated to you that he did not personally witness the shooting, correct?
Correct.
Also, Kayla indicated to you that she did not personally witness the shooting, correct?
Dylan indicated he heard a pop. Kayla indicated she was in her room.
So she did not see it, correct?
She stated she was in her room. It came out.
Did she indicate to you that she saw it?
No.
Did she give you any description of the shooting?
No.
Okay. And Kayla's relationship to who lived in the home?
I can tell you who was in there. I can't tell you who lived there.
Okay. Do you know what Kayla's relationship was to anybody else?
I believe she was in a romantic relationship with Dylan.
Okay. You said you often made calls out there for cows and other animals who, wandered off of their properties?
Yes.
Okay. And that's because people own lots of land out there, correct?
Correct.
And have livestock and other animals on their property, correct?
Correct.
And hunt? People hunt out there?
I'm not familiar with hunting. I'm not game warden.
I'm sorry?
I'm not a game warden. I'm not familiar with the hunting aspect of it.
Okay, okay. Well, would you be surprised to